All right, guys, the past week was absolutely insane, but week 3 waiver wires here. I'm going to get you guys in and out of here with the best players to pick up at each position and also have a discussion with you because it's been crazy. A lot of people are busting. Now, a lot of players I called, guys like Brock Bowers, right? Bust week 2. Guys like Ladd McConkey, he's been a wide receiver 3 the past 2 weeks, okay? Brian Thomas Jr., he looked absolutely terrible. Guys that I saw coming. But a lot of guys I didn't see coming. We're going to talk about guys like Omarion Hampton, Genty. What's going on there? I'm going to cover that here at the beginning of the show, you know, in the news section here. But I want you guys just to relax for a second. We're going to get to waiver wire in a second. But I want you to relax because it's very simple. It's 1 week, first of all, so don't panic. Number 2, typically in redraft or in fantasy in general, you only have to beat another team. And believe me, other teams are struggling because you're looking at guys like Bijan. What the heck is Algier doing in there? Kyron Williams. What the heck is Corum doing in there? Hampton, Najee's in there. It's like everybody, like I'm telling you, man, the coaches are purposely trying to screw you. I just saw a video. I don't have it up in front of me here. It's on my phone, but it was a video I reposted. Go to my Instagram, reposted on story. It was one of the coaches for the Cardinals. And they were talking about Marvin Harrison. He's like, yeah, well, targets aren't that important. You know, if we need to get the ball to him, depending on the coverage. Like, they're basically downplaying the fact that they need to get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr., who, by the way, had a bad game as well. So it's like, dude, these are your best players. Why aren't teams using their best players? Why are they manipulating things? Why are players that shouldn't be getting the ball? We're going to discuss that here on this video. I'm telling you, it's been the wild, wild west. All right. So we're going to get to waiver wires. Going to highlight what I just talked about real quickly here. If you are new to the channel, make sure you guys do smash it, tap it, slap it. Hit that thumbs up, guys. It takes a second of your time. Drop a trade or waiver wire question. I'll try to get to as many as I possibly can. So drop it below if you have a specific question about waiver wire. I can't guarantee I'll get to all of them because I do prioritize my Patreon group. So if you've not joined the Patreon group, I just dropped a Q&A there for waiver wire where I'm answering questions up to 9 p.m. tonight Eastern. So if you want to join and get your answers, questions to your answers guaranteed, patreon.com/FF Counselor. I recommend the general level, which is a top tier level because there's privates, captains, and generals. The generals are guaranteed starts and sits questions, but waiver wire questions, I've opened it up in the Patreon group. But I'll try to get to some here as well. Drop them below and hit the thumbs up if you're new to the channel. The only channel giving you guys the truth here right now, okay? And also, if you have not done it yet, you need to right now, guys, go over to MyBookie. You need to go over to mybookie.ag. This is the site I use, the site I trust, where I play and get in on the action. MyBookie is amazing, and they're doing a bet back bonus up to $500. Get in there, guys. Amazing enhancing of your game experience. FFC is the code you want to use upon sign up, and this is the site I use. And obviously, if you want to get my picks below, the Counselor's Edge, where I deliver you the winning picks. Man, did I crush it on the straight ups this week. Absolutely tore it up. My locks were locked in. Okay, so get my picks, and also you can play and make the cash on mybookie.ag. The code you want to use is FFC. Go create an account, deposit, and then come join my Counselor's Edge. I'll give you guys all the picks so we can make some money here on mybookie.ag. The code you want to use is FFC. Go put down your deposit right now. Okay, so let's dive into it here. A couple of things with the latest news and notes. I just really want to talk about, where's Breaking Brad here?
We now have breaking news.
Man, it's not so much. I don't want to focus so much on injuries and I really just want to focus on the landscape. And I kind of will get to that real quick when we kind of go over each position. But ultimately, guys, here's how it is, man. I'm telling you, I think there's some major manipulation going on here, okay? Because we've got players that shouldn't be touching the ball. I'll give you a quick example here, okay? Let's talk about quarterback, for example. Spencer Rattler, Bryce Young, and Mac Jones outperformed Burrow, who got hurt, Hurts, and Josh Allen. Like, that alone should be concerning, right? Because we invested high draft capital in these quarterbacks and then come these bottom feeders. Let's talk about another example here with wide receiver, okay? This is why I'm talking about manipulation, and there's something going on. Troy Franklin, 9 targets. Sutton didn't even see I think he caught like one target or something like that. Like, Cortland Sutton did absolutely nothing. Isn't that concerning? Like, that is concerning, okay? That is just one example, okay? Wan'Dale Robinson. Now, mind you, Malik Neighbors still 8, but Wan'Dale Robinson, 10 targets. Okay, hold on. Stick with me here, okay? Now, this is kind of leading into the waiver wire, okay? Diami Brown, Jacksonville, 7 targets, 5 receptions. I can guarantee you that nobody's got Diami Brown. If they do, it must be like a 20-person league. Diami Brown, 7 targets, 5 receptions, and a touchdown. I mean, Brian Thomas was literally, where's Hunter? Why isn't Hunter and Brian Thomas being the top guys, okay? We'll talk about that. So it's just been great. Like Justin Jefferson finished 38th amongst wide receivers, which I'm going to pull up in a second. We'll get to that. So all I want to say here in this news here is like, yeah, there's an injury to Burrow and there's other things going on and there's a lackluster performance. I could pull it up here, man. Let me just pull up, since we're talking about how bad people did, let's pull that up here. Okay, let's talk about a couple things. We're in the news section, so let's get into it here. Like Geno Smith had an absolutely terrible game, and that ripples to his receivers, including Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers hauled in 5 of his 8 targets for 38 yards. That's Brock Bowers, a first to second round pick. All right. Genty ran for 43 yards on 11 carries. That's not good. When you look at Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey was the wide receiver 3. Okay. He only had 5 receptions on 5 targets for 48 yards. Unacceptable for a second round pick. Now, Najee Harris came in, had 8. He carried the ball 8 times. Same with Omari, and that's a direct 50-50 split. Najee ran for 28 yards, Hampton for 24. Really genuinely, and Omari and Hampton fumbled at the end of that game. Absolutely terrible, okay? Now, Nico Collins had a good game. He had that big touchdown, 52 yards. Other than that, he was targeted record high 9 times. So that's good when you look at Nico Collins. But overall, like people are just not getting the production that they should. Emeka had a good game, 4 receptions for 29 yards and a touchdown. We need more yardage out of Emeka, right? Rachaad White getting involved, ran the ball 10 times for 65 yards. And a touchdown. Why is Rachaad White touching the ball? What about Bucky Irving near that goal line? Unacceptable, okay? JJ McCarthy's ankle is not expected to be on IR because of his ankle injury, apparently, but could miss some time here. Josh Allen was not an injury report. His nose was bothering him. Be careful there. But just going into some of this news, I mean, Aaron Jones got hurt, hamstring. He's out. Just a couple notes here. But guys like Brian Thomas Jr. complaining about his wrist throughout the game. But if you look at it, he wasn't even going for the ball. He looked like he wasn't even trying. Okay, like this is concerning for a second round pick if we're talking from fantasy perspective. This is huge. This is ridiculous. Okay, so let's just go to the waiver wire pick. Let's just get right to it because I could break down. You guys can actually see what's going on here from a visual perspective here. So Breaking Brad.
We now have breaking news.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Let's turn this off here. Let's get right to it here. So I'm going to pull up. We're going to start off with quarterbacks. I'm just going to give me a second here to filter by quarterback. So let's take a look at quarterbacks. Okay. Let's talk about waiver wire, who to pick up. So there is some injuries, obviously Burrow, McCarthy, stuff like that. But with quarterback, you should have an ace quarterback for the most part. Now, Burrow, I don't have on my teams. I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate I don't have him. So, or even McCarthy as well. But look at this, Spencer Rattler. If you're desperate for a quarterback, a super flex or 2 quarterback leagues, and you're looking at a quarterback, Spencer Rattler. Mac Jones, if you're desperate for the next couple weeks, could be viable. I mean, Mac Jones, 21.8 fantasy points, throwing 3 touchdowns. Spencer Rattler, I don't know if this is even sustainable. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 21.7 points. Bryce Young having a good game. Is this going to be sustainable? Finished 10th amongst quarterbacks, 21.3 points. Okay, so if you're looking at quarterback, consider them. There's also Jake Browning and Michael Penix are my other 2 guys that I recommend. Jake Browning finished 18th amongst quarterbacks, 17.7 points, is going to get some work. So Jake Browning and also Michael Penix. I mean, Michael Penix didn't have the greatest game, but if you're desperate for quarterback, he's going to be there. There's injuries, there's concerns. I understand 2 quarterback leagues, it gets dicey. And Cam Ward had a little bit of a mini breakout of that big pass to Alik Ayomanor. I'm not really, really excited. CJ Stroud just not looking good at all in reality. So those are your quarterbacks. But just really shocking, particularly for this past week, that Allen and Hurts and Burrow just not performing. Even Herbert finishing 16th. Like I'm just looking at it's just crazy, man. Like Burrow finishing 30th. An injury does count, believe it or not. So, and then you got these bottom feeders here. So that's quarterback. But this is where it gets really dicey and a little messed up. So let's talk about the running back, who to pick up, but also how messy the situation is here. Now, Jonathan Taylor is the best fantasy running back in football right now. Like, he's the best fantasy football running back, period. Okay, James Cook is getting a ton of volume. Devin Achane, I was wrong about. So far, he's good. I don't know if he's going to last the season. I'm banking on an injury there. But if you take a look at this here, take a close look here. This is really, really concerning. You know, you're talking about Travion Henderson, the top best running back on the Patriots, and then you look at this, and this should infuriate you as a fantasy football player. 11 attempts, 54 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, and 21.2 fantasy points for Ramondre Stevenson. Stevenson sucks. Like he did nothing last year. Okay, so I looked at his stat. He's a garbage player. Yet they're giving him the work. Okay, that's concerning. Jaylen Warren. Now, everyone's talking about like, well, Joe, you told us Caleb Johnson. I did as soon as he got drafted because there's 263 freed up attempts there with crappy Najee Harris gone. Okay, now all of a sudden, Najee gone, there was a void, and then training camp started. Then I was hearing all this bad reports about, bad pass protection, right, and all that. And this guy was an ironclad workhorse out of college. Like, he was an amazing player. Like, look at the stats. Look at his college tape. Then he ends up on the Steelers, and then Arthur Smith is his coach. And then like Warren, who was a backup for years, who sucked, couldn't beat Najee, is now the starter. Like, it's just crazy, man. Like, there's something going on here. I'm telling you, because Warren shouldn't be starting on any team, anywhere. And you can see it. It's reflecting, guys, in his numbers. It's reflecting like 3.4 yards per carry, 14 attempts, 48 yards, 3.4 yards per carry. Like, that's not good. Like, I don't know how anyone thinks that's good, right? With Jaylen Warren, right? So anyway, and Dobbins as well. Another one, 14 attempts, 5.4 yards. He had a good game, but I don't think that's sustainable. By the way, Bashal Tutin's like the top running back prospect. I mean, he's stashed on most leagues anyway. You guys were aware of if you got 16 rounds. But Bashal Tutin's waiver wire for running back. We're going to go through that in a second here. But I'm just kind of showing you, like, Tyler Algier, 16 attempts. For Tyler Algier shouldn't even be on the field, okay? Like when you look at, let's talk about this for a second. When you look at a situation going into fantasy football 2025 and a running back in a situation going into 2025, Bijan was in like the most clear-cut position to succeed. Now, he had a decent week. Like, what did he have? What did he put up number-wise here? He had a decent week, but like, why is Algier, like Bijan, 19.8 points? 22 attempts, 6.5 yards per carry, 143 yards, no touchdowns, right? But Algier comes in and takes that touchdown. Like, I don't know what to tell you other than why is Algier on the field? Like, I'm going to lose it. Like, I'm absolutely going to lose it, man. I'm absolutely going to lose it. Okay. Rachaad White, same type of thing. Why is he getting 10 attempts, 65 yards, and a touchdown? All right. Scadaboo, I kind of saw that coming there. He took a touchdown there, and, Tyrone Tracy was not that good. Another one, Kyron Williams, okay? 17 attempts, but no touchdowns. Guess who got the touchdown? It was Blake Corum somewhere down here. I gotta pull that up, okay? So I'm looking at this, man. I'm just like, well, I don't even know where Blake Corum is. He's down here somewhere. But I know Blake Corum took that touchdown. So it's been really messy. I know a lot of people drafted, Tolly Pollard as their one. That's a disgusting game, 9.2 points. Genty, who is a top prospect, right? 11 attempts, 3.9. They had Zamir White out there for pass catching downs. Like, I don't know. Najee Harris, like, he shouldn't be on the field. He was out the entire training camp, right? He couldn't see out of his eye. Like, he was done. And here he is. So as you can see, Travion Henderson, only 3 attempts, 3.3 yards per carry, just not getting the volume. Why? It doesn't make any sense, man. Pacheco's been absolute garbage as well. So who do you pick up, though? Like, off waiver? I mean, this is sad. Like, I hate to say this, man. Like, I didn't even think I'd be saying this in week 2, but Tyler Algier, Rachaad White, Cam Scadabo, if he's available, pick him up. There's Blake Corum, 10.4 points. Did he finish with more points than Kyron Williams? There's no way. Okay, I'm having a dyslexic moment. Kyron Williams, there he is, finishing 30th. Blake Corum, 27th. Are you kidding me right now? 10 points for Kyron, 10.4 for Blake because he had that touchdown. So that's the difference. Kyron could have doubled his numbers if Blake Corum would sit his, on the bench. So I'm losing it here, right? Montgomery, 11 attempts. He's out on the field and getting a touchdown, stealing away from Gibbs. So as you can see, man, like, nobody's safe. I would say Taylor, is getting the most volume. 25 attempts, James Cook. So when you look at it from an attempts perspective, Jacobs, Bijan, Saquon, Cook, Pollard had 20 attempts but did nothing. Javonte, Kyron 17, but they're still giving the goal line work. Algier 16 attempts. That's just unacceptable that Algier is a top 12 running back in week 2 based on attempts. So I want to just put this in perspective that they're really messing with their teams. But the good news is that it is early and, talent does rise to the top. It's not sustainable. Okay. So who are we picking up at running back? It is dicey here, but I'm going to give you a couple names. Michelle Tootin, Rashad White, Tyler Algier, Blake Corum, and, that's it. Running back is really, really thin and trim, okay? So let's go to the wide receiver position here, and I'm going to show you the disaster that is the wide receiver. This is going to be wild. This is going to blow your mind. Are you ready for this? Wan'Dale Robinson, okay? Waiver wire pickup, okay? 10 targets. Are you kidding me? Guys, this is Wan'Dale Robinson. Hunter Renfrow, a top 10 wide receiver. Carolina to boot. Who would have thought, if I said week 2, Hunter Renfrow, Carolina is going to put up 23.8 points, you'd be like, you're crazy. Juwan Jennings, Williams, right? I don't think some of these guys are sustainable week in, week out. Would I pick up Diami Brown off waiver wire who had 7 targets? No, I would not. I don't care for him. Would I pick up Devontae Walker, finished 20th amongst running wide receivers? He only had 2. You got to be careful, right? 2 targets, 2 receptions, and 2 touchdowns or something. It's just not, it's not sustainable, guys. Okay. He's just not sustainable. Baltimore's Walker, he's not getting the volume. Maybe he breaks out, but it's a long shot. Alik Ayamanor, I would pick up. I think that's going to be a consistent connection there. 6 targets. Turpin from Dallas, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 15.3 points. Is that sustainable? He had a touchdown. So you got to be careful with some of these guys getting these touchdowns, right? With a guy like, Turpin. I don't know if that's sustainable, okay? Tyquan Thornton, KC. Tyquan Thornton, I can't even pronounce today. KC, 5 targets, 2 receptions, and a touchdown. Again, very touchdown dependent there. Emeka is going to be consistent. I still like him. He's not available in your leagues, I'm sure. Parker Washington from Jacksonville, 5 receptions. Again, you guys got to make a decision. How desperate are you wide receiver? How deep are your league? How available are these guys in your league? You may want to consider him. Alec Pierce has been pretty consistent target-wise, but only 10.8 points. Okay? Ladd McConkey, I called a bust on this. 5 targets, 5 receptions, 48 yards, and 9.8 points. But he's the wide receiver 3 on this team, right behind Keenan Allen and QJ. He's just not getting those touchdowns. He's getting those slop passes and those quick passes to get Herbert out of trouble. The check downs, the quick passes, and he's coming up clutch, 5 for 5, but just not going to be performing on a high level. But guys like Devontae Smith, right? 6 targets, 4 receptions, only 9.3 points. Brian Thomas Jr., 12 targets, that's good, but only 4 receptions. 49 yards, just really unacceptable for a second-round pick, only 8.9 points. Ridley, just unacceptable, 6 targets, finished 56th amongst wide receivers this past week. Butte had a touchdown to save his week, but only targeted once. That's concerning. He was a top waiver wire pickup last week, okay? So who are you picking up here? Look at this, A.J. Brown, terrible. Drake London, 74th amongst wide receivers. Keon Coleman, 75. Marvin Harrison, 82. Okay, so these are big name players just not performing, guys. I don't know what else to say. So who are we picking up at the wide receiver? I'll give you guys a couple names here to pick up at the wide receiver position for this particular week. And we're looking at guys like Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin was really consistent. Cortland Sutton, really a non-factor. Keyshawn Butte, again, very touchdown dependent this past week. Alik Ayamanor, I like him. Pick him up if he's still available. Romeo Dobbs came alive. Hunter Renfrow, believe it or not. And Wan'Dale Robinson are your targets for this week. Again, every league varies, so drop your question below and join the Patreon group if you guys want direct access. But what a crap show at wide receiver. I mean, look at this. This is just wild. Justin Jefferson, again, 38. DK Metcalf, 40th. And this is rankings the past week. This is why rankings don't work, by the way. Ladd McConkey, 47. I mean, you would imagine going into this week, you would put Jefferson and these guys all in the top. Jefferson finished 38th. You would put Jefferson as a top 10 receiver going into the week. You wouldn't rank him as 38. This is why rankings don't work. They don't work. They just don't. Ladd McConkey, 47. Brian Thomas, 55. Like, you wouldn't put the AJ Brown 66. If you go into this week, this is why rankings don't work. Rankings don't work because of this. Let me explain this to you. First of all, preseason rankings, everyone told you Brian Thomas, Lab McConkey, first, second round. How are they doing so far? Not to mention this, guys, this is very important. Going into week 2, if you're watching videos and they're saying, oh, I'm going to rank Jefferson as a top 10 guy, AJ Brown, Drake London, all these guys finished outside the top 40. Jefferson finished like 38th. Marvin Harrison outside the 50. Like, these guys' rankings don't work. Okay, and I really feel that coaches and teams are trying to mess with your team. Well, Joe, what do you do to solve this? I'm going to show you guys right now. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys what to do. You got to stick to the game plan. You got to stick to the guys you love. They're messing with you, man. Talent will rise to the top. You don't think that they're going to throw to Jefferson anymore? You don't think that they're going to throw to Harrison anymore? You don't think that they're going to throw to Ridley and Drake London and AJ Brown? You got to be nuts. Or Keon Coleman. There's going to be down weeks, but it was just a terrible slaughter fest here in week 2. And I'm telling you, they're going to have to throw to their best teams. They're going to have to run their best running backs if they want to win. And I don't know if these teams want to win at this point, the way that they're playing. I don't know. But if they want to win, they got to play their best players. Let's keep it simple with tight end here. Let's go with some tight end suggestions here. Zach Ertz, Juwan Johnson, Jatavian Sanders, 9 targets, and Harold Fannin are some guys you want to consider. So just taking a quick glance here. Juwan Johnson, 9 targets. That's very impressive. Jatavian Sanders, 9 targets. Very impressive. 12.4 points. The target count is very appealing here for Jatavian Sanders in Carolina. Maybe it was an anomaly week. You might want to stash him on your bench and hope for good things. Brock Wright, tight end, Chicago, 3 targets, not the greatest. You got to look at the targets, right? When you look at it from a target count, Ferguson, Juwan Johnson, Sanders, Bauer, still 8 targets, but only 8.8 points. Really just not getting it done. Zach Ertz, 8 targets, 6 receptions, but he got it done, right? With the touchdown, 18 points. Tyler Warren's consistent, right? So when you look at it, I think it's very important. You got to take a look not only at the fantasy points. These are the top 10 fantasy guys here with Kraft, Ertz, Ferguson, Juwan, McBride, Jatavian, Warren, Wright, AJ Barner, and Kelsey. But you also got to take a look at the targets, right? Like Brock Wright had 3 targets. Is that sustainable? Barner, only 3 targets. Probably not going to get a lot of work next week. And they got touchdowns to boot. So if you got low targets and a touchdown, it just doesn't feel sustainable. Maybe it could be, but it's very unsustainable. So I mentioned the guys you want to pick up. Consider them for this week, but it literally is a crapshoot, which is typically the situation there with the tight end. Let's take a quick glance at defense and special teams here. And I've been saying this for a long time. If you want to consider Arizona, if they're available, they're going to be a good team this year. They got just based on matchups. Chargers a good matchup this week. Falcons had a really good matchup, 21 points this past week. Seattle crushed at 22. But I think Buffalo's a safe defense to have this year. I think Pittsburgh as well, but just didn't have the greatest matchup here. 12, finished 12th with 6 points. I still think Pittsburgh's a good team. So there you have it, man. Those are, your defenses. So what do we do this week, guys? How do we stay positive through all this uncertainty and doubt? I mean, ultimately, I really believe you just got to believe in your team. Now, there is situations where you have to pivot. I'm just not liking the Travion Henderson situation. I'm not trusting the RJ Harvey situation. I'm just not. They're not running him. They're running Dobbins when they shouldn't. They're running Stevenson when they shouldn't. So I'm looking to pivot. I'm looking to bench. I'm looking to maybe put in some wide receivers in the flex spots and try to start my 2 best running backs because it just doesn't look appealing right now. Could Najee have stole the job from Hampton? Possibly. Could Gentry continue to be a bust? That O-line looks like a disaster. And I mean, if you look at the quarterback last night, he was Geno Smith. Absolutely terrible. He's just completely reckless. So, man, it's just been crazy. Absolutely wild. Josh Allen had a down week. Why? Because they were ahead. And when you're playing from ahead, he's not throwing the ball a lot. He's not throwing the ball a lot to begin with. If you watch the first game, in the first half, he just kept, small check downs, throwing past, behind the line of scrimmage, running the ball, 3rd and 4th, running the ball. And then when they needed to come back, he kept throwing it to Keon. So it's really, I don't know, man. I don't know if they're all in cahoots with each other, but there's something going on where the target distribution has been completely dispersed. It's not honed in on a particular player. And this week is a perfect example. It all started off with running backs with Alvin Kamara and Ingram years ago with this committee where they were doing away with the Adrian Petersons of the world, and now they're getting into completely diluting the wide receiver and even the tight end position. So what does that mean for fantasy? It means that there's not going to be a lot of consistency. It means we've got to make more moves and just be a little sharper, okay? That's where I come in. So if you're new to the channel, smash, tap, and slap it. Join the Patreon group right now if you guys want direct access to me. But what a wild week, man. Those are my suggestions. Go do with it what you may. But man, oh man, what a wild week. Absolute chaos. Hopefully this helps you guys a little bit. But go stay sharp on the wire. Try to start your best players, and let's hope for a better week 3. We'll talk soon, guys. Oh, by the way, get in on the action at mybookie.ag for the bets. Use code FFC upon sign up. We'll talk soon.